A very good morning. I'm currently looking at longs on euro dollar. So with that said, let's dive in and see what is going on. So starting off with euro dollar obviously in yesterday's video, as we mentioned, was looking to move further in towards downside to mirror this clean move over here on our left. So as we can see, we had this protected high over here. So this is the high, obviously, that broke this low. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, as long as this high is protected and not broken, we just follow the order flow in towards the downside. So we did indeed see some further downside. However, what has happened during the Asian session last night, well, we've seen a fractal change in structure. So we saw a fractal break over here, meaning that this is now your area of demand, and the potential pullback in towards the highs can now come in towards or into play. So overall, the internal shift of structure is, of course, bearish in towards the downside. So push, pullback, push. And now I'm looking to see if we can get a pullback higher in towards this obvious area of supply, from where we then want to see a push in towards this demand zone. So why am I looking for a pushback in towards this supply, or why am I potentially expecting that? Well, that is because obviously the overall 4-hour structure, first of all, is bullish. So from this low in towards this high. And then second of all, in market structure alignment, what we have is the second form of structure, which is a fractal break of structure over here. So we get that push in towards the downside, then we get a pullback, then we get one more push in towards the downside. And if price wants to continue, it will respect the high that we drew over here. But we didn't, and we saw a break of this fractal high over here. So now we're looking at a potential pullback play in towards this higher supply zone, before then again looking for a fractal break in structure to then trade euro dollar further in towards the downside. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at the lower time frame, because I'm not going to be just trading this 4-hour area of demand, because to our left we don't have any area of demand over here. Obviously this is called a fair value gap. A lot of people might trade this as an area of demand, but personally that's not in my strategy. So what I would have to do is go in towards a lower time frame. And then what we can see is that we have some 15-minute areas of demand. So first of all, what I want to mention is the way that price was moving yesterday. So this is very important to recognize, that a potential impulse in towards the downside is over, because a lot of people can obviously say, okay, well, we can just short this overall order flow in towards the downside after forming an area of supply, and we put our stop loss above the high. However, what you have to keep in mind is the way that price is moving on the lower time frame, because that can tell a lot about where the market is heading next. So if you dive in towards the 15-minute, what you'll see is, first of all, an overextended move in towards the downside, and then this descending corrective price action. So if you've followed me for quite some time now, you know that a descending corrective price action often leads into a break in towards the highs, and an ascending corrective price action leads in towards a break in towards the lows. So this was a perfect example of an overextended move, descending price action, acceleration in towards the highs. So at the moment, what I'm looking for is to see, okay, can we potentially target this high over here? Look at this 15-minute areas of demand. At the moment, the internal structure over here, so it just shifted bearish. So we could continue in towards the downside, but obviously what you want to do is, if you want to trade that 4-hour fractal structure break, which I just explained, then on the 15-minute, what we'll need is a reaction to an area of demand. So for example, we have this demand zone over here, or for example, we have this demand zone over here. So what you want to do with those 15-minute demand zones is that you want to wait for price to come in, and then provide us with that internal structure shift, break the high, push up, and then boom, give us that bullish intentions. So that's what I'm looking for on euro dollar for today, keeping my eyes open for that potential long trading opportunity. At the moment, I'm not interested in shorts. What I'll be doing is, okay, once this low breaks over here, then obviously I expect this area of demand to get hit, from where we can look for a potential long trade. So that is that for euro dollar. If we do move up higher very soon, then obviously this is our first target over here. So that's euro dollar. Moving on in towards the dollar index. So the dollar index has also provided us with a change in character, guys, because overall what we can see is a 4-hour break of structure. So over here we had a 4-hour break of structure. We get the pullback in towards the downside, pushing towards the upside. So this was just the overall correction before the extremely impulsive move in towards the highs. Now, this is also what I explained in, I think, the beginning of the week or last week. After a big area of consolidation, you get a big impulse in towards the high. So you can see the rally pretty much just started from this low all the way in towards this high. So a big rally, not like the traditional trend price action that you get. So now, after seeing that 4-hour BOS, obviously after BOS, what do we expect? we expect a pullback, because after a break of structure, you expect a pullback every single time. So when do we expect a pullback? We expect a pullback when we reach, first of all, an area of supply, or if we see a lower time frame trend shift. So over here, we've reached an area of daily supply, and we've also seen a fractal break in structure. So this was your high, this low broke that high, now this low is broken, meaning that this is now your fractal area of supply. So from this area of supply, that's kind of like the confluence with the euro dollar long, we could see potentially like this. Something like that happen, and then obviously we'll target this area of consolidation once again if the market does indeed start to shift in towards the downside for the dollar index. So that's the dollar index. Moving on in towards AUDUSD. So AUDUSD, what has happened over here, a little bit less interesting in my opinion than, for example, euro dollar, but still we are inside the 4-hour extreme. So this is your 4-hour extreme swing low. This is your swing high. So if Aussie dollar is to move up higher, it should move from this region. So overall, we're just kind of stalling in price. Now, I was obviously looking for a fractal change in structure to break this high over here and then look for a long, but yeah, we didn't get anything. So no trade at all for myself. However, this is now your fractal low. This was your fractal high. So your fractal high, which broke this fractal low, is now broken, but we didn't really see it close above this fractal high over here, meaning that, yeah, you don't really have an area of supply. Like you had this area of supply, let's say this bearish candle, but you already wicked into that over here, right? If you can see over here with this bullish candle, you wicked into it and straight away you moved out. We didn't really see a candle close above this fractal high. So not like a real clean trend shift. Obviously, it does look something like this. But what I want to see is like a real clean one, like on euro dollar, where you really get the candle close above that fractal high. Like over here, you get a strong candle close, meaning that there's real demand inside here. So that's what I'm looking for on Aussie dollar. For the rest, yeah, not much to do with this pair at the moment. So moving on in towards pound dollar, because pound dollar is the one I forgot yesterday. However, if you are inside Discord, link in the description down below, you did spot this potential trade opportunity, and it's very similar to euro dollar. So overall, what we saw was first a break of structure. So a break of structure over here. Well, again, what do you expect after a break of structure? Just explained, we expect a pullback in towards the highs. When do we expect a pullback? We expect a pullback, one, if you reach supply, or number two, if you see a lower time frame trend shift. So what did we get? So lower time frame trend shift. So what did we get on pound dollar, guys, on the 4-hour? What did we get? Well, did we reach supply? Well, not really, but we did have kind of like this obvious liquidity low where demand lies. But we did get a lower time frame trend shift. And that is very important because as we can see over here, and you have to just maybe zoom in or turn up the screen brightness. This is the low that got broken. This was the high over here, the high of this bearish doji candle. That bearish doji candle's high broke this low, then this bearish doji candle's high gets broken, meaning fractal structure, guys. Fractal structure is then bullish. So we can then look for longs to trade the pullback in towards the highs, very similar to euro dollar. So what was I doing? I was marking out my potential long trade like I always backtest it. By the way, we're doing a live backtesting session on Friday, but regardless, this was a 1 to 1.35, so not really interesting. Obviously, you can hold on to this trade all the way in towards this upper area of supply if you would like, because there's still liquidity and supply open. But what I did was I went in towards the 15-minute to refine my overall entry. So what I did is I looked at the overall market structure. So what happened on the 15, we have that bearish trend in towards the downside, push down, pull back, push down. Then what happens? Push in towards the upside. So then we form a new higher high. This is your higher low, obviously. So what we're looking for is a push up, a pull back, and a push up. So then what I do is, first of all, so market structure is in favor, right? We have 4-hour bullish fractal structure and 15-minute swing structure is bullish. We pull back in toward discount in towards the 50% mark, which always acts as my area of support and resistance. We had liquidation on this low over here, so most people would go long inside this because they would say, okay, this is swing low, right, and this is swing high, so we should go long over here. But then they get liquidated and then the real move comes. Obviously, that's because the real swing structure is from this low in towards this high. Now, what I did was then I just applied my entry model. So I waited for the fractal break in structure, like pretty much the exact same thing I do in the higher time frame: push up, push down, and then push up. Then okay, demand is created over here, and then we tap literally with perfection, and we move in towards the upside. So over here is the trade. As you can see, the proof that I actually took it as well. So yeah, if you want these kind of market updates, make sure to join Discord. But I hope you guys understand the explanation. So now what I'm looking for is to see, can we reach that area of 4-hour supply, which should be reached next. That is over here, from where we can then look for a further short. So that's short zone number 1. And if it does move higher, this is short zone number 2 that I'm looking at. No longs further on the board for myself. If you are in a long, obviously you can still hold in towards those areas of supply. But the current price action is what I just explained, right? Ascending corrective price action that we're seeing over here. So not a big fan of it. Obviously can move up, but not a big fan of the current price action. So I'm glad I am out for a clean 1 to 3. Now moving on in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD over here, yeah, moving very clean. As we can see, this area of demand, which we showcased yesterday, that has now been hit. We just refined it to the last candle. Shared it inside Discord yesterday as well. So now what you want to see, obviously, is that change in structure. Fractal wise, so you want to see a break of this high, pullback, and then a further upside continuation. So we need to break this fractal high before, for myself, any longs are valid. Because at the moment, this is just your area of supply. And that's why you're currently reacting over here, right? So the overall order flow is just, again, a buy and then a sell-off, pullback in towards there. And then again, a sell-off and then a buy before the sell-off, pullback, and then yeah, you see that continuation. So now if you want this demand really to do something, you need it to break this fractal high, meaning that the bullish intentions are real, and you can start trading the pullback in towards the highs and in towards literally that 50% mark, which aligns beautifully with this area of fresh supply. So that's it for NZDUSD. Moving on in towards gold. So gold, obviously, that short played out in towards downside if you did take it, as I explained in yesterday's video. Make sure to watch it. So now what you've seen is a 4-hour BOS. So I'm obviously expecting further downside still in towards that daily area of demand down below over here. Now, just follow the order flow. So pretty much this area of supply worked out, push down, pull back, push down. Now this is your area of supply over here. So just wait for it to get hit for that further push down. Obviously after BOS, still shorting the market is riskier. However, it does look like the market should at least push in towards here before giving, let's say, a hard reversal back in towards the highs. Overall, if you wanted to enter that trade that I just showed you on the 4-hour on the lower time frame, then you can just clearly see that the overall trend was bearish. So you get that sell-off, buy, and then sell-off, and then a buy, and then a sell-off, and then a buy, and then a sell-off. So this is what I explained again, 1, 2, third touch, and then sell-off. So this is the ascending price action that I'm talking about all the time in this video. This is the swing high, this is a swing low. So at the end, you get the correction in towards the highs and then the sell-off after tapping in towards this area of fresh supply. First of all, liquidating, obviously, this high over here, and then eventually just liquidating that second high as well of the overall ascending wedge. I have a video on my channel about ascending wedges and channels and descending wedges and channels, so make to check that out. So thanks, guys. Hope you guys found this video extremely valuable. I wish you all a fantastic day. On the 15-minute, keep an eye out for the zone over here on gold. And I wish you a very profitable day. Make sure to join Discord and see you there. Thanks, guys.